to you tonight, guys. One of my friends, a mentor that I've met over a year ago and been training with. I was going to tell you that he is a 30-year veteran in the network marketing industry and has been a six-figure earner in over 5 different companies. Clay is a master mentor to thousands of six-figure earners who have a presence in over 80 different companies. He holds 4 advanced degrees in training and much more. He served in the U.S. Army. Thank you for your service, Clay. He's a corporate trainer. He's a personal effectiveness coach, a Fortune 500 trainer. He's a #1 author of best-selling books in the network marketing industry. Execute 90. I know you guys, this is the only operational system in the industry. 6 figures in 6 months. Another book is Ask, Listen, and Repeat. Another is Fast Start Field Manual and the Geometry of Success. And Clay has delivered hundreds of keynote speeches, workshops, seminars, and webinars to diversified groups of business owners, entrepreneurs, and community leaders. So without any further ado, tonight we are going to have an amazing training. I couldn't have asked anyone more knowledgeable and experienced in this area and on following up and closing the sale than Mr. Clay Stevens. Clay?
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. You can hear me okay, right, Cherie?
I can hear you great. Yes.
Super good. Okay. So thank you. Welcome everybody to our call here tonight. This is going to be super fun and super exciting. I'm really excited to be able to help you move your businesses forward, because that will make your life work. This is in my judgment, this is the best business model ever invented by man. Ever. We've been sort of rebranding this in the last little while because 2 really important trends are coming together. Big business franchising like McDonald's and Ace Hardware and those kinds of big business franchises are coming together with independent business ownership to create what we call personal franchising. And I'm super excited to help you guys move forward with probably 2 aspects. Really, it's sort of one and the same. I mean, they kind of go together. I'm here tonight to help you create the 6-figure income. I will tell you that if you'll do what we're going to invite you to do tonight, interjecting your own personality, so it doesn't have to look like, sound like, smell like, taste like, be like Clay exactly, right? But it's important for you to actually execute the things that will produce success. And once you do that, you start doing that, your income will take, like you've seen in lots of these different illustrations, your income is going up and up and up and up and up and up, and then it takes this hockey stick turn. And that's what will happen in your business if you'll start doing what it is that I'm going to be teaching you here tonight, what we're going to be talking here tonight. And none of this is memorized. Cherie and I are going to have a very good conversation, I hope, and you all get an opportunity to be able to listen in, of course. But if you have questions, comments, concerns, observations, then it's not like this is all memorized. Cherie doesn't have a line, and then I have a line, and then she has a line, and I have a line, and it's not that. We're having a conversation here tonight, and if you have questions, need some elaboration on anything at all, then please just raise your hand at the bottom of the screen. You get there's a chat feature at the bottom of the screen. You can ask a question in chat, or you can just interrupt us and ask your question, so that we want to be able to help you, to help yourself, to help others, to help themselves, to help others, to help themselves, to do the same. This is what we will call triplication. We want you to win, but we don't only want you to win. The fastest way to winning in this industry is to help other people, to help other people, to help other people to do the same. So, Cherie, I appreciate you inviting me here tonight, trusting me with this great gang of people that we have here tonight, and I just appreciate the way that you show up in the world. I did a few years ago. Made a decision to not invest any more of my life with people who are not intentionally going to make a difference in the world. I want to be around people who are making a difference in the world, not people who are talking about making a difference in the world. They can talk the talk, but I want to be around people who are walking the walk, who are actually doing what it is that will create success if they just keep doing it over and over and over again. So, Cherie, I'm going to turn the time over to you for any housekeeping kinds of things, phones, and that kind of stuff. And the call is being recorded. So, just want you to know that that Cherie and Nakima and Ginny and others that I don't know who are leaders in this group, but I have great long-term relationship with Cherie and Nakima. So thank you guys for inviting me. And Cherie, I'll just let you sort of moderate what we're doing here.
Thank you so much, Clay. Thank you so much. So guys, yes, keep yourself muted and raise your hand. You can go down to participants and then you can raise your hand there. And if you're going to be moving around or eating or washing dishes or something, just go ahead and turn your video off, because it's distracting to others. And and if you have any questions, we should have a Q&A at the end. Just go ahead and write your questions down, raise your hand at the end, and we'll try to answer them the best we can. So this training is on following up and asking people to take action. So Clay, what is your philosophy or approach to closing the business?
So it's a very interesting question. This is like the $64,000. If I just knew this one thing, my whole business would be different. My whole life would change or something, right? But my philosophy of quote unquote selling and quote unquote closing is different than most sales experts. And the reason why is that most selling experts are not network marketers or personal franchisees. They haven't been sitting in someone's living room. Their strategies are often not lifelong relationship oriented. They're there, get in, get out, get somebody's check, be gone. On to the next thing. And that is not how this industry works very well. If you want to make money in self-work, those strategies will really work well. Closing the business. Right now, I just tell you that my philosophy is rooted in what my dad taught me. And my dad lived a long time, owned multiple car dealerships. He spent 30 plus years building 9-figure incomes by building in the car business, by building relationships with his customers. Now, let me just give you off the top, just so if you're taking notes, which I would suggest you probably should do. I'm going to give you 5 things right off the top here. One is, a couple of lessons from my dad. So number 1, you need to enroll people in their own life. You see, when a person is enrolled in their own life, and you do that through high-yielding questions, right? You can help them to see or feel how their life could be if their problem, whatever their problem is, or challenge went away. Or how their life could be different if their passion actually showed up. Now, this is what I mean by enrolling. So when you enroll somebody, the enrollment process starts way before you start filling out some kind of an application. The enrollment process begins by enrolling people in their own life. You have to be able to draw a picture, get them to tell you what their life would actually be like if they could wave their magic wand. So you must, number 2 is that you must, not just generic you individually, you must know what people want their life to be like. Now, there's about 600 reasons, and I'm going to be able to talk about 5 or 6 of them here tonight. Reasons why you have to know what people want their life to be like. So when your presentation is over, you don't have to sell them. Now, this is about following up, but the truth is a presentation is a follow-up to the contact. So when your presentation is over, you don't have to sell people or close them. You are simply making a call to action, and it's great verbiage, Cherie. A call to action is not to close the business. It's a call to action. You're asking people to take action to make that life that they told you about a few minutes ago, to make that life come true, right? To make it, right? What does it look like, feel like, taste like, sound like, smell like, right? That they just told you about. You're asking them to take action on a life that they are already enrolled in, at least emotionally, right? So they're gonna welcome your invitation to take action, because that's going to relieve. Look, if you have something that will relieve somebody's pain that you can articulate and that they can articulate, then you simply become the messenger and order taker for their life to begin to be transformed or made over. So I just want you to get clear. This whole selling thing, oh man, this is coming to the critical moment. I'm building up to this eureka, pinnacle, peak sensation minute, and I don't do it because I'm scared. What are you? I don't know. What are you? I don't know what you're afraid of. This is what happens when you're using normal sales, selling, closing tactics. Is that you just have to know what people want their life to be like. You show them how they can get it, and then ask them to be able to take action. Are you ready to take action? Now I'm going to give you some stuff here in the end to be able to help us move forward. So you're not trying to get them to do something they don't want to do. Look, at the end of the day, people really don't buy water machines. They buy what water machines will do. People don't go to Home Depot to buy hammers. They go to Home Depot to buy hammers because the hammer will create a result, or saws, or glue, or anything in our life. We buy clothes to create a result, cars to create a result. We don't buy cars so we can have a bunch of cars. We buy cars so we can get from here to there. Okay, so that's the second one. The third one is you never want the customer or the prospect to be closed. You always, my dad taught me this first thing, you always want your prospects to be open to taking action that will solve their challenges. Now, they're going to freely tell you about these things if you'll suspend your agenda for a minute and just say, look, what is the problem that we are solving? Then if we simply, right, if simply be interested on what's missing in their life instead of trying to be interested in our presentation. Look, your demos are great. They are. They're super cool. They're amazing, in fact. And people need to know exactly how their life is going to be enriched or better, or some solution is going to show up if they actually engage with you in some meaningful way. Now, the fourth thing is, if you'll build your relationship with prospects, again, through high-yielding questions. And high-yielding questions, if you have an RI training subscription, if you have a BizRunner subscription, if you have an Execute 90 subscription, you have access to to audios and videos that talk about high-yielding questions. There's a book on the shelf above my head up here called Ask, Listen, and Repeat. A whole book about being able to find out how to create high-yielding questions, how to use high-yielding questions to get your prospects to talk to you, right? Because people will quickly trust you because you appear to be primarily interested in them instead of selling something for some old reason, right? That may be good for you, but to them, I don't even know how to use this or why I would use it all day, every day. So it's just really super important for you to recognize that this is going to be important for you to be able to move forward. So what I want you to make sure that you are understanding is, sorry, I just wanted to make sure I had everybody muted. Is that most people know if you're there to sell them something. Most people can also tell if you're there to solve problems. So the fifth thing is to ask. The sequence is this: ask some questions, listen to the responses, really listen, don't just let it go by you. Okay, you had your turn talking, now I'm going to take my turn again. Ask, then listen, and then repeat. Now, this is a critical skill. And if you really understand what it is that they want more of or less of, then they will take action because they know that you know what their pain is and you know what the solution that's best for them is actually going to be. So the reason why all of that is really important is because people need to know that you give a rip. It's not scripted. I don't know if you know that these reality shows on like HGTV, they're all scripted, right? They're actually doing the projects, right? But at the end of the day, all of the interaction between everybody is all scripted. They're not, this is kind of an interesting notion once you figure it out, like, wait a minute, the end has already been determined and we know exactly what's going to happen. Now we're just playing a part in the show. So I just want you to get that people will engage with you. They will engage with you if you know what problem they have, and if they know that you know what problem you're solving. That's a critical distinction. They will trust you if you take a minute to go way faster by slowing down just a little bit. If you'll understand what problem you're solving, there's going to be unbelievable benefits to this in the short term and in the long run. So this notion of making sure that you're asking and then listening and then repeating maybe even what they say back to them can be super, super helpful. So those are 5 things. Let me just give you those 5 things again, just first, real quick. Enroll people in their own life. You must know what people want their life to look like. You never want the prospect or customer to be closed. You always want them to be open. And if you build a relationship with your prospects, they will quickly trust you. Build relationships and ask, listen, and repeat. Now, I've had people comment for the last 5 years, Clay, why are you spend the first 2 or 3 minutes talking to somebody about stuff that has nothing to do with what we're doing here? Like, Cherie, you got super cool glasses, and that's an awesome house that you're in front of there, and, right? There's a lot of reasons why we just talk. We're just talking for a minute, like a 30 to 60 second minute, so that we can start building a rapport, so we can start building a relationship. What I want you to do is to tell me, trust me, and then tell me what it is that's not working for you. You either have too much weight or you don't have enough. You either have too much debt or you don't have enough money. You don't have, something is amiss in your life. About 99% of the people are operating this way. Now, you might be thinking, well, Clay, I've heard this before. Well, yeah, you have. And the question is, are you actually doing it? Are you actually doing what I'm right now telling you? Or you just jump in, cool water, and here's the 62,000 things that it will do. And here's how you can change the pH of it so that you can, use it for, baking bread, or you can use it for getting hard water spots off of your bathroom tub or something, right? I'm just saying that stuff does matter, but it doesn't matter first. It matters most for you to know why in the world would they want any of those problems to go away for them, right? What's in it for them? What's in it for me? What is it that's not working for me? You skip that step, you're going to get crushed time after 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 time. You're going to get squashed unless you meet the right person at the right time when their window is open, that no matter what you say or do, they're going to buy. Those are the only people who are going to buy from you if you don't do what I just invited you to do. Those 5 things to be able to start with. Okay, so that's a super long answer to a pretty simple question, Cherie. So,
wow. That was so amazing. That is so amazing. I know everybody, I can just look on the screen, everybody's writing and taking notes. And this is going to be recorded, so y'all can come back. We'll get it out there so you can listen to it again. So Clay, what should a person already know when the follow-up begins?
So follow-up is an interesting thing. And some people think that this is only a formal step. Like we contact or invite, we do a presentation or a demo, and then we follow up. Well, the truth is you're following up from the very start. So what should you already know when you follow up? Which includes from the contact onward, including the step called follow-up as well. So here's what I would recommend that you do. The follow-up actually begins during the contact, continues in the presentation, or in your case, the demo that you do. Right now, if they don't engage, okay, so I'm just gonna go from after the presentation, okay? If they don't engage by enrolling, either as a product or a partner, product buyer, purchaser, right, or a partner with you, at the end of your presentation, then you should know the following for the follow-up. Now, you should know most of this stuff even after the contact. You should know, what do they want? What is their pain? What are their goals? What are their dreams? What are their passions? What is it that they really, truly care about? What do they care about? What do they want, desperately want, that they can't get doing what they're doing now? What do they want? Now you have to know that. Now I've told you that. This is now about the fourth time I've told you this. You have to know what they want. Look, they will never engage with you. Well, that's not true. They'll engage with you about 3% of the time, even if you don't know what they want. But I would prefer to have a better conversion ratio than 3%. Now on a scale from 1 to 10, you need to know how serious they are about getting whatever they told you. What is their pain? I have credit card debt. I have medical bills to pay. I can't go to work. I want to be able to replace my boss. I want a new car. I'd like to have a car that would start every time I would go to it, etc. So what do they want? Great. That sounds awesome. How would your life be different? Like when that shows up, right? We're having that conversation with them. On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 is I don't care even any about it, or 10 is, dude, I can't live another minute without this thing. How serious are they about it? So what do you need to know when the follow-up begins? Before the follow-up begins, the truth is, right? What do they want? How serious are they about getting it? Scale of 1 to 10. What is keeping them from getting it? That is to say, what's holding them back? Now, if this is the follow-up step, they may not yet have enough information to be able to make an educated decision. Some people just take longer to process through things, right? But what's keeping you from getting the life that you want to be able to get? What is it? What's holding you back? Well, I don't have a degree. I don't have money. I don't have this. I don't have that. There's stuff, right? Which is, okay, good. You need to know what that stuff is. Now, you also probably ought to know what their questions are and possibly even what their objections might be. That is to say, why didn't they enroll at the end of your presentation? Why didn't they? I'm going to show you a way to get crystal clear about that here in just a minute. So ultimately, what is your solution? And why is that solution the best solution to their pain, not your agenda? If you're there to sell a $4,000 water machine, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But if that's your biggest, hairy, audacious, man, I want to sell a $4,000 machine here today, that's great. But if that's not the best solution for them, if in their current circumstances, in their life right now, right, they can only afford something less than that, then you can, of course, you can help them understand the benefits of the $4,000 versus the $1,000. Right? But you just got to make sure that your solution is a solution for them, not for you. So what should you do before? So number 1, right? Know what their pain is. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, right? How excited are they about getting it? What's holding them back? What do you think their questions are going to be, etc. Now there's another part of this book, Ask, Listen, and Repeat. Another part of your subscriptions to either Execute 90 or to BizRunner or to RI Training can help you understand how to find out these things, right? How to help draw these things out of people so that they will actually tell you what is going on in their life. And then, of course, you just need to know what the best solution for their pain is. All right, that's maybe another long answer. Sorry.
No, that's so good. And I know every Monday on our Difference Maker call, we go over all these different the different lessons, and everybody's just growing, and it's just amazing because so many people on that call because they're hungry for the information, and I just feel so blessed that you're here sharing this with us. So and because we're learning those high yielding questions and finding their pain, but just the way you lay this out is fantastic. So Clay, how do you handle answering questions? Like, what do you do when people begin to ask you questions?
Well, you've just asked me a question. So should I be nervous? Should I be worried? Should I be like, oh no, they're asking me questions. Now what am I going to do? No, at the end of the day, questions actually are good. Questions are good. So embrace the notion that somebody might actually be asking you a question. It shows a whole bunch of things. It shows that they're interested. It shows that they have been paying attention. And it shows that if you've said something, they've asked a question about something you've already talked about, then it maybe shows that you're either talking too fast or you're talking in a way that they can't fully understand or something. But questions are actually good. Questions are great. I love questions. They show that people are interested, first of all. Now, there's no rules to this. I don't know if you've ever watched like you've ever watched a television, not even a debate, but like just a television or a radio interview, where the interviewer asks a question and the person being interviewed says something that has nothing to do with the question, right? You've probably seen that before. Like, yeah, how about Anderson, dude? Well, here's the deal. There's no rule that says you have to respond with the answer. You don't have to answer questions with an answer. You can ask a question as your answer. So you don't have to answer to respond to with the answer or to dazzle them with some sort of scientific data or facts and figures that prove your product works. Now, I always try to answer initial questions with a question, not an answer, because the problem is that the prospect rarely knows how to ask the question that they're really concerned about. They don't know how to articulate the question that they want to ask. So they ask a question and you think they mean one thing when they really didn't mean that at all. So I always ask a question, or like to often ask a question, to get clarification as to what it is that the person is really asking. So if a person were to say, how much is this? How much is this water machine? Well, that's a legit question. Now you don't have to answer that with the answer. You can ask a question. Well, so let me make sure I understand what your question is. Do you mean how much is it so that you can write a check? Or do you mean how much is it so I can make a determination between the $4,000 and the $3,000? Or how many bottles of water would I have to buy in order to pay for this machine, right? So there's a lot of ways that they can mean a lot of things. They just may not know how to ask you a question in a way that you can easily determine what the answer actually might be. And almost always there's lots of different ways of answering the same sort of question. Even at your convention, right? With your convention, there was a panel and somebody said, well, here's a question that people often ask. How would you answer it? And there's like 5 panelists and they all answer that question in a different way. So there's not always only one way to be able to do that, okay? Now, why are you actually asking this question anyways, right? That's what I want to know. What is it that you're trying to figure out here? Now, I always want to make sure that I'm answering their real question instead of introducing some new problem that they haven't even thought of yet. Now, once I know what they are actually asking, then I can give a response, or I can refer to someone else's story or a video link, or make a 3-way call. Now, I'm going to bet, I don't know this for sure, but I'm betting here. I'm going to bet that you guys don't make as many 3-way calls as you could. So if I'm Lisa and I'm sitting in someone's living room, somebody asks me a question about the chemical, the composition and makeup of the plates in one of these machines, Lisa may actually know the answer. Lisa probably should call, so I don't know what your hierarchy is, right? So Lisa may just call Cherie. Hey, Cherie, I'm sitting here with Susie, and Susie has a question about this. Would you answer this question for us, please? You see, now we get more people in play, and now the prospect doesn't get the feeling that they have to know everything about everything so that they can go build the business. We never want that illusion. 3-way calls are super important for you to be able to use. Use your upline mentorship. If I felt like I was the new person, if I felt like I had somebody that I could call when somebody started asking me questions, man, that would be money. That's money in the bank. Because now I don't have to know everything. In fact, the truth is you really don't have to know almost anything at all, because you actually have video links, and I've watched some of these videos. You have video links to all kinds of things, probably answering many of the questions. Or you can say, yeah, you know, that's a great question that Lisa, that's a great question you're asking. Lisa, you know, I was in a meeting one time with a guy named Earl, and Earl was talking about this very thing. And here's what Earl said about that exactly. Here's what Earl was talking about. And then, you see, I can use a third-party story to be able to move forward, right? So he had hearing challenges. You say you're having hearing challenges. So Earl started taking the water, and before very long, bada bing, bada boom, hearing problem, his hearing problem went away. Now, I'm not claiming that your hearing problem is going away, You can't make a claim. But you can shuffle to a story where someone else had that problem become alleviated. That is completely legal. I don't want you to make claims and say stuff that you're not supposed to claim. You can't say that Kangen water is Drano for your cardiovascular system. You can't say that. I can say that. You can't say that because I'm not an Enagic distributor. So you can't make a claim, a health claim. You can't make an income claim. You can't make any of those claims. You can show what the compensation plan says, etc. All right, now I'm kind of rambling on here about this, but it's important really when people start asking you questions. It's pretty easy. First of all, you need to get clear about what the question is. Second of all, if once you know, you could answer if it's a 50,000 foot easy answer. If it's not an easy answer, do a three-way call. If it's not an easy answer and you don't know the answer, just remember back. This is why we go to meetings, because we listen to what people like Sam are saying. Sam said this, Sam said that, Earl said this, Debbie Lovelace said that, and Nakima said this. Now, yeah, I can remember. Stories sell. Stories sell. Oh, wait, somebody else had the same problem? Yeah, they engaged? Yes. And wow, that's awesome. Okay, you see, that's a whole different kind of a program that we're talking about here. Okay, sorry, I'm not trying to use all of your time on these short questions, but anyway, it's all good.
So that is so awesome. So Clay, and I do have one person, and he's on the call, George. Done the three-way calling, and it's very effective for him. So I'm really glad that he uses that. So Clay, how do you handle overcoming objections?
Well, this is a really great question. So Cherie, tell me what you mean exactly by objections.
Well, it was a really good demo, but I'm just gonna have to talk to my husband, as I'm not sure about the money.
Okay, now girls and boys, so I just mimicked for you exactly how to get clear about what the question really is, because in this instance, this person's Cherie's objection, right? It costs too much money or something, right? It's not a problem for her. What she thinks it's going to be a problem for is her husband. She's got to go sell her husband on this thing now. You see what I'm saying? Now I have a way better idea about how to overcome this challenge than I did before. So Cherie, you see, now I'm going to be back to the drain. This is why you have to know what problem you're solving, right? So, Cherie, when you go talk to your husband, what exactly are you going to talk to him about? Are you going to talk to him? Now, I'm making this up a little bit because we didn't have, so if she had told me in the beginning that she has fibromyalgia and she's got other issues, doesn't sleep well, has intestinal digestion issues, etc. If she has told me that in the beginning of the demo or in the contact, and now she's coming up with this at the end of the presentation or in the follow-up, she's got to go now talk to her husband about this. I would ask her, are you going to talk to your husband about fibromyalgia and, and the fact that I used Kimberly's, story about intestinal digestion issues going away. So are you going to talk about those things? Or is there going to be something else that's going to be getting in our way? I got to get clear. I have to get clear about what this conversation that I'm not going to get to be part of is going to be about. So that you would tell me, right? Well, he's going to want to know, look, I can buy bottled water every day at Walmart for $1. Like I can buy 1,000 bottles of water at Walmart for 50 cents. Why would I spend money on a machine, right? That's what his concern is going to be. Great. You see, now I know how to overcome this. This is really important for y'all to be getting. The truth is, this is really important. And you are going to need to know what the 2 or 3, maybe 4 most common objections are. I will bet you $100 to every penny you could throw at me that at least one of those things is it's too expensive or I don't have the money. It's going to be one of those two, at least one of those two. Now, Most people just don't have that kind of money laying around with nothing to do with it, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Now, they may not be pushing back at you, but they don't have any context. The reason why people have this challenge is because they don't have any context for the value. This kind of an objection, most objections come down to this. The prospect does not understand the value proposition, or they don't believe your value proposition is actually going to be there. It's either belief or they just don't get it. Like, okay, it's water. I turn on my tap and water comes out. Like, I don't get it. Right? Now, if they say that, they miss the entire presentation. Right? They were like asleep or something, which is possible. They just may not get it. Now, I would just find out what exactly, kind of back to the questions again. What is it that's holding them back, right? I handle objections just like I handle questions. Remembering, of course, that objections are actually a good thing. I don't have enough money. So if you said that to me, I don't have enough money, here is what I would say 100% of the time is my first my first not question shot back at you. I would find out what's like, it costs too much money. Well, what does that mean, too much money? Well, it costs thousands of dollars instead of 50 cents, and etc. So it's too much money. I can buy water. I got water coming out of my tap. This seems like a lot of money. Okay, understood. So let me just ask you, if your water heater went out, how many cold showers would you take?
It's good.
And I have asked this to a lot of people. The answer is always one or none.
Wow.
I would take one. Well, okay, good. Don't turn on any hot water and go take a shower. All right, that's one. Right? Most people say, well, it's stupid, Clay. I would none. Well, do you know how much a water heater costs? My daughter just had a water heater installed in her house. It was by the time they bought the water heater, had it installed, et cetera, it was about $1,000. Just telling you. How many cold showers would you take? Right? People will lie, beg, cheat, steal, beg, borrow, have a bake sale, sell bicycles. They'll do all kinds of stuff in order to be able to come up with money for things that they clearly know have value. So I don't have enough money. It's never really truly about the money. It's about something else. It's most likely comes down to belief. Do they believe that if they engage in this way, that their pain will go away? Okay, got it. I would take one hot shower and I would still lie, cheat, steal, beg, and borrow to buy that, but I'm not buying your thing. You see, if you don't know what they want to have, then you can't do what I'm about to tell you to do. You revisit what they told you in the beginning. So didn't you tell me a little while ago, so I'll just use you, Cherie, as our example. Didn't you tell me a minute ago, Cherie, that you have fibromyalgia, you can't sleep through the night, and you have digestive issues, and that you were a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, you were a 10 about making those problems go away? Yes, and that your life would be completely transformed if those problems went away. Did you really say that? Or did I imagine you saying that?
Yeah.
You see, if you can just circle back to, here's how much would it, I don't have enough money. Well, wouldn't it be worth whatever the amount of money is to make those problems go away? Well, yeah. You see, when people start getting context for what they're saying, we've just been conditioned to say, oh, this pen costs, I don't know how much this pen costs, $2 or something, right? We've been conditioned to say, man, that's too expensive. It's too much. So, or if it's free, then it must not be worth anything. So I'm just telling you, if you can always circle back, if somebody starts to push back at you, it's pretty easy for you to say, didn't you tell me a little while ago that you wanted A, B, and C, and that you were a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, or an 8 or a 9 or whatever they told you? Didn't you, like, I'm not making that up, am I? I mean, you did say that, right? Yes, I did. Then you can circle back to that. Now, here's an additional part of this. in regards to questions and objections, I will answer about 2, maybe 3 questions, or I'll overcome 1 or 2 objections before I stop. And I would say, you know what, I'm happy to answer all of your questions, or I'm happy to help you understand how what you were talking about now is not really a problem, but that you think it is. I'm happy to do all of that if you're asking these things, you're saying these things because you want to take action. See, I'm not going to answer 300 questions if a person has no intention of doing anything. You're wasting your time, you're wasting their time, and you're just wasting time. And you only got a certain amount of it. So make sure to invest your time wisely with the people that you're talking to. If someone is just trying to figure out how to say no without saying no, then just say, look, I get it. But if you're not going to take action, why would I go through all of this? Well, I really don't want to do this anyways. Okay, good. Understood. Do you know anybody who would like to actually make their life work in some reasonable way? And get a referral and go away because they're sucking the oxygen out of the space you're sitting in.
Wow. That's good. That's so good. Wow. So many, I know everybody's just busy writing because they absorbing all of this. So Clay, since you said you don't close the business, how do you ask people to take action?
Such a good question. So let me just put you in for a minute. Let's just go to your favorite restaurant just for a second. Just imagine yourself at your favorite restaurant. You go in, the person meets you at the front. They, how many are you? We are 2. Okay, good. We got a place just for you, right? They sit you down. They don't immediately start bringing you food. They bring you a menu instead, right? They're not just showing up with food. Now, what's interesting about this is that if you're really serious about making your business work, you need to be an option giver. You need to give people some options. So what does that mean? Well, even if you were to go to McDonald's, I know that none of you would ever go to McDonald's, but if you went to McDonald's, you would see behind the cashier this big, huge menu up on the board. And it would say, and number 1 is this, and number 2 is that, and number 3, I don't even know what it is, right? Stuff. Goo, likely. So, but there's a menu for you to choose from, right? You don't have to know what you want, right, when you very first start. So I want you to learn how to be an option giver. And effectively, I would set all of this up. Look, Susie, you said that you had this pain, ABC, and I showed you exactly how that pain will go away. And now you've asked a couple of questions, which are great questions. Now, effectively, you have 4 options. Now, this is one approach. In your Execute 90, asking for the business, and Execute 90 in the Media Library, in BizRunner, in the Learning Library, in RI Training. All of what I'm talking about now is right there. There's be an option giver. So I would use 4 things. I would give them 4 options. Now, some people don't like to give all 4 options, and I don't care. The truth is, this is what I would do. So I would say, now you have some options. So now you said you had a problem. I showed you the solution to the problem, and my solution really, now we can agree that my solution really is a solution. And then I would just say, okay, now you have some options. Option 1, do nothing, and your life will go on exactly as it is right now. You're more educated, but your pain is not going to go away. That's option 1. Option 2, you can get more information. Option 3, you can enroll as a customer. That is to say, you can buy a machine. You can enroll as a customer and take advantage of the features and benefits of the machines that we've been talking about here. Or you can enroll as a business partner with me, and you can start working for, now you see, if I know what they said in the beginning, right? The machine is too expensive. Well, how would you like the machine to be free? Right? Now I'm going to talk about that in just a second. So you can enroll as a business partner with me, and if you need to make $5,000 a month, start working towards that $5,000 per month. Which of those options works best for you? That's pretty hardcore sales closing. Look, if you'll do what I'm asking you to do, your relationship will never be on the line with people because you're not being ignorant. You're not being stupid with people. You're just saying, look, you said you had a problem. I showed you a solution. Here's some options. Which is best for you? Because I'm going to support you no matter what you do. Now, let me just circle back. So you have 4 options. Option one is they can do nothing, and their life will go on just like it always has. And I would say to them, look, I understand this may not be the best time for you. I totally get it. Would it be okay with you if I called you back in a month or 2 just to report how I'm doing? Now, what I've said, RI training, Biz Runner, Execute 90, right? And all of those learning libraries, what I just said is exactly there. Okay, would it be okay if I call you back in a month or 2? You see, what I want them to do is to give me permission to recontact them. And if you say yes, yeah, sure, that would be fine, because they think you're going to fail and you're going to fall on your head and you're going to call them back and you're going to have to admit that you were dopey and that you couldn't make it work because I knew that it wouldn't work. So that's the one part. The second part, so I don't want to do anything. What is okay if I call you back? The second part of that is, do you know anyone who might be interested in what I've just shared with you? So get a name if you can, get their permission to call them back. That's option one. I don't want to do anything. I'm going to ask 2 things about that. Okay. The second option is, if they choose the second option, well, I need some more information. I don't know what the heck we're even really talking about here. I'm a hybrid, or I'm a pickup truck and I process information. I need lots of information in order to make a decision. Okay, good. What information exactly do you want? Don't just make stuff up. Now, I'm going to dig a little deeper than that. What information do you want? Well, I need to know, are there payment plans? Is there a return policy on this thing? How do I change the pH in any of these machines? And what does this machine do versus that machine or whatever, right? Okay, good. Would there be anything else? Well, yeah, I need to know if there's a meeting anywhere in town ever. Okay, good. Got it. Will there be anything else? I want all of their stuff right now. I want you to tell me all of the stuff that you are needing more information about. Because I'm going to give it to you, all of it. Here's what happens if you don't do what I just did. Would there be anything else? Here's what happens if you don't do that. You're going to come this week and you're going to give them a video link or something that talks about whatever the solution is. Give them a pamphlet or something. And then you're going to come back the next week. Okay, you ready to get started now? No, I need more information about something else. And then, okay, good. I wish you would have told me that before. Well, they didn't because you didn't ask. So now we're on the next week. And then you're going to come back the next week. And then they're going to say, well, no, I need more information about something else. Okay, I wish you would have told me that before. Well, they didn't tell you that before either because you didn't ask. So you see, this isn't their fault. But you go about 3 or 4 or 5, 6 weeks of this, and they will have forgotten why in the world you guys were having the conversation about water to begin with. But they're not going to enroll. So you've got to get all of the information. What do you want? What's keeping you from taking action so that you can give it to them? The third option is you could become a customer. Okay, good. So I want to become a customer. Awesome. Here's what I recommend, because you have varying levels of things to purchase, right? And based on what they've told you, you can give a recommendation. Here's what I would recommend that you buy. That works for them, not for you. You have to be interested in them, not worried about you so much. So I know that you guys are, people are trying to rank advance and all that stuff, and selling the $4,000 version of this is better than selling the $1,000 version. I get that. And at the end of the day, you'll sell a lot more of everything if you just relax for a minute. So here's what I recommend. Based on what you told me, here's what I recommend you buy. This is what my dad did 100% of the time. Here's what I recommend. This is the car or the pickup or whatever that I recommend that you buy. and they'll take my recommendation because they know that I've been paying attention. So that would be one. Number two, if they say, well, man, it's just too expensive. I want to buy something, but it's too expensive. I can't buy it. Okay, that is awesome. So how would you like to be able to get that free? What? Well, there is a free option. I hope you all know that there is a free option. There is an option for you to be able to get this for free. Well, what do I got to do to get free? You see, now they're asking a question because I know that they're interested in getting the thing. They just may not see how the money is possible. Now, because I haven't been stupid in the presentation or in the contact or in the follow-up, these people will trust me. They are trusting me already. Okay, I get that. This is the one that I should get. Understood. How do I get that for free? Well, do you know, I'm guessing a little bit because I don't know your compensation plan exactly, but I'm betting that if you sell someplace between 2 and 7 machines, pretty much everything would be free. 9, okay? So you get 9 machines. Do you know 9 people? And they don't even have to know 9. You know between 2 and 5 people who you think would be interested in what you saw here tonight. Yeah, totally. Jenny and Susie and Aunt Mary and Grandma and whatever, right? Yeah, totally. Good. You lead me to them. You introduce me. I'll do the work. You just got to introduce me. And we're just going to go through this again. By the time they get about 9 sales in there, their thing is going to be for free. What? That's it? Really? I can totally do that. Yeah, I get that. So that's a way. Now, do nothing, ask 2 things. More information. What information? Would there be anything else? I want to become a customer. Great. Here's what I recommend that you buy. And then if there's an objection, there is a free option. The 4th thing is a business partner. I want to become a business partner with you to be able to do that. Well, of course, then they have to buy a machine. Well, they don't have to, I suspect, but they wouldn't be able to be a business partner with me if they didn't have at least the product, right? It'd be hard to be a car salesman if you didn't own a car. So it's hard to be a bicycle salesman if you don't have a bike or even know how to ride one. So it's pretty tough to be able to make that happen. So I'm just telling you that it's important for them to engage in some meaningful way in the process. So you got to have a machine. Here's what I recommend based on what you told me. And now you know how to be able to get them started. You got to sign up however you guys sign people up, etc. And then you book the next meeting from this meeting. If they choose, I don't want to do anything at all, you've already asked them, can I call you back in a month or so? Now you put that in your calendar so that you can call them back, right? You're not calendaring it with them. If they want more information, you got to calendar the next event. You have to put the next event together. Like, when are we meeting next? If they want to become a customer, great. Here's what we do. Got it. Knocked it out. Now, when are we meeting again? Because you have to teach your customers how to be customers. 3, and then the 4th one is, right, they want to become a business builder with you. Okay, good. And we've gone through how all of that works. And now you need to book the next meeting, which may mean getting them 3-way to somebody in the upline, may mean sitting down to do an initial interview with them, a business interview with them, so that you can find out some additional information, get them on auto ship, get them on auto anything, right? Anything where there's a recurring payment, get them on execute 90, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we've got to get people started the right way, being able to move forward. So I don't close. You see, that's not closing. I'm not closing you. You shouldn't be closed. Even if you said, I don't want to do anything, you shouldn't be closed. You should still be open to talking to me and visiting with me.
Wow.
Okay, good. All right, Cherie, I hope I answered your question. I took a long time. Sorry about that.
No, this has been fantastic. Wow. Does anybody have any questions? I know I had somebody say that they sent me a text that they have to make sure to ask those questions in the very beginning so that you can circle back around.
And if you don't find out what someone wants, people are not going to engage with you. You have no recourse. You have no way back. You have no way to recover. It's too expensive. Yeah, but didn't you tell me? You see, you can't say, but did you tell me? Because there wasn't any conversation about it. You showed up with a Cadillac and they couldn't afford to buy it. well, I guess your thing's not for me then. So it's important to know what people want so that you know how to position what you have for them. So people often ask me, what do you do, Clay? I find out what people want and I help them to get it. That's what I do. Find out what people want and I help them to get it. That's what you ought to be about. Finding out what people want so that you can help them get that. If it's more money, don't say drink water. If their health is bad, don't say we're going to go out and talk to 900 people, right? They want water. That's why your solution has to be a solution for them and not for someone else. It's an excellent point. Thank you for Cherie for bringing that up and whoever texted you.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, observations? And Nikema, I'm pretty sure you don't get to sit there like a little wildflower, my friend.
Where's she at? There. You can unmute yourself, Nikema.
I'm here. Thank you. This was so awesome. I mean, it's great. You know, I think one of my biggest takeaways tonight is, you know, the follow-up is always happening from the time you meet the person, right? Every step is a follow-up. So for me, that was my, you know, the reminder tonight, you know, because we do BizRunner training and we talk about the follow-up in BizRunner, how BizRunner counts it. But I love how you said that follow-up is always starting from the beginning. And it's all about serving people. That's the difference about being in a personal franchise versus, you know, just, you know, being a salesperson, right? This is about relationship building. I think that's a big difference. So this was awesome, Clay. Thank you so very much. It was awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Nikema. Anybody else have anything to say? What are your takeaways? What did you learn tonight? Look, I don't want you only have a certain amount of sand in your hourglass, right? Mm-hmm. In your glass. So I want you to make sure that you're getting value for your time that you're investing here. So Diana Giles says, what would you suggest suggest how to get past prospects that said no in the beginning when you started in the business? Such a great question. Thank you. I would just simply call them up and say, you know, hey, Diana, this is Clay. You remember me, right? We were talking about that water thing. You remember that? Yeah. But you know what? Some unbelievably important things have happened in my life since I talked to you last. And what I'd like to do is just get caught up with you for a few minutes, show you some things that I've learned, like really make this critical to my own health and the health of my family, being able to move forward. So I'd just like to come share a few things with you. Now, one thing I would never, not ever, not even ever, let me say that in a different way, not ever say to someone is leave your wallet at home. Don't say that. Like, why would you even say that? Like, to alleviate some kind of stress that they're not going to get sold something? Look, if somebody's fired up, oh man, I'd buy right now, but I don't have my wallet. That's a problem. So I would just say, if I was calling somebody back, and I have said in the past to people, hey, you know what? I kind of hosed you. I didn't really know very much about anything when I talked to you before, but man, now I have learned such an amazing amount of things about health and wellness and how health and wellness can make our lives work better, how our whole life can improve, right? And I just kind of, the truth is, I really didn't do a very good thing for you. I think I kind of just really took advantage of our relationship. I'd just like a few minutes to just visit with you about what I've learned. That's all. Great question. Anybody else?
Well, I just want to say I'm glad I got on the call this evening. And thank you, Clay. That was a lot of information I took. I can't tell you how many pages of notes I took tonight. But one of my biggest things is I like the option giver. This morning, we had a little training at my house, and, you know, and I'm always telling people on my team, you know, you got to meet them where they are. Not everybody wants or can afford the K8 or the SD501. If they can only afford the level I car, then that's what you need to sell them. Don't try, you know, I never want to put anybody into debt or financial strain or have them worrying about how they're going to pay for something that they can't afford. That's not what I'm about. And so being an option giver, I think is really important for all of us to stop and reflect back, because it's, well, at least for me, it's not about the dollar. It's about giving people, being the solution, finding the solution for them, and giving them the options they need to better themselves. So, like I said, I took a lot of notes, and then another thing too, when you talk about handling objections, I have my husband's aunt, and Cherie's met Aunt Patricia before, and she is just so adamant about not getting an ionizer. It's hysterical. And this past weekend, she was at the house, and her friend was with her, and her friend was asking me questions. So I was giving her friend just a couple of generic answers. And she just went to this tizzy about how she couldn't understand. She's not home enough to buy it. She was trying to make every excuse for her not to buy one from me. And I told her, I said, you know what, Patricia, I'm good with that. This is your life, not mine. But it's funny how, I don't know if she was expecting me to be more upset about it, but, I think I'm just learning that, with handling objections like that, being very adamant about it, I just calmly said, it's okay. If this is your life, it's not about me. It's about you and your health and what you want. And so when it comes to handling objections like that, I'm not, we always joke and say we're not in the convincing business. And I don't want to be that person who's going to sit there and argue back with somebody to try and convince them that what I'm trying to do is best for them. And do you ever find people doing that in any other business?
Oh my, yes, this is it, man. Oh, I don't like the color of the drinking bottle that you have, or I don't like the color of your pen, or whatever, right? There's stuff is stuff. If you get into an argument with somebody about that kind of stuff, see, this is why it's critical. I understand that you think this is too expensive. I understand that whatever your aunt's situation is, your husband's, right? This person, if you don't know what that person wants, then you're going to get swallowed up, because your only option is to argue. And you're going to hope that somehow in some court of law, which is the law of public opinion in this case, right, you're sunk. You see, when somebody says, well, it's too expensive, it's too this, it's too that, it's not enough this, it takes up too much counter space, it takes, right, stop. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter what the objection is. If you don't know what they want, you can't retreat to, wait a minute, I'm so confused right now. You're coming up with some really great questions, some potentially even good arguments about why you shouldn't buy this. I get it. I understand. So So she's not home enough to make it matter. Look, I've been to conventions with Cherie and Nakima. They bring the freaking water with them.
I told her the same thing. I said, do you think I'm on a cruise ship without my ionizer? You're crazy.
Right. So the interesting thing is that if you can't return to what did you say you wanted, right? If we don't know what that person wants, we have no way to do anything but argue some point.
Right.
Wait, didn't you just say a few minutes ago that here's the 9 things that are going on with your health that I've just said are benefits of engaging with me? Well, yeah, I did say that. Okay, well, then if you don't, then look, it's your life, not mine, but you said you had a problem. I just showed you a solution, and now you're saying, thank you for sharing, but your solution, I don't want your solution. Okay, good. Surrender quickly and go away.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I'm learning to handle, because in the past I probably would have just said, I don't know why you're being mean to me, or I probably would have. I know I would have handled it differently if she would have been like that with me, 2 years ago.
Right.
But like I said, I just calmly said, hey, it's your life.
The interesting thing is that people will put all kinds of stuff into their body, like a candy bar. Do you know what is in a candy bar?
Please don't tell me. I love candy.
No, and I'm not going to tell you, because every candy bar has all kinds of interesting things in it, right? But do people know what's in the candy bar that they eat? Do they know what's in the popcorn that they eat? Do they know what's in the fish or meat or milk or, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. But as soon as you say health and wellness, they got to know every ingredient. And how does that, they become a researcher, right? If you say health and wellness, they say, well, I got to have research and I got to go ask my doctor. Really? You remember that candy bar you were eating about a week ago? Yeah. Did you ask your doctor about what's in that candy bar and would it be okay for you to eat that? No.
Right.
See, when we get into an argument with people, nobody can tell who the fool is. And a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. If you have to convince today, you have to convince tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. And I don't want to be in the convincing business. I want to be in the helping business. And if somebody doesn't want to be helped, then I can't help them.
Right. That's right.
That's good.
Well, as a senior citizen in the group, can I speak a minute?
I hear you there, Doc. Listen, yeah, come on up, step up.
Well, you know, made 79 on the 21st of April. Wife made 70 on the 10th of August. And we're both senior citizens, and I'm now unretired. And one of the things that I look at, and it's God sent, and I really do believe that God has sent me on this ministry, is getting the people used to the water and letting them come to you and tell you when they're ready for the machine or ready for purchase, or how do I get a unit. I'm very careful these days where I call it a unit versus a machine, because with 12 years to get the certification they have in Japan and 10 years in the United States, and we're going through this health crisis, I like to take the insignificance off of a machine and place it on a unit. The unit is easier to explain in a lot of ways, especially when you got the certification we have and you can stand behind it. My goal here where I live is to give the water away and then let those people find out the benefits of the water. The name of my program is The Gift of Water. Consequently, what we do is we let them use the water for a particular length of time. And over that period of time, we communicate with them and keep them in the communication cycle so they can tell us what benefits they're getting from using the water. And at the end of that particular cycle, they have built up enough benefits to know they want a unit, and they'll come to you many times before they finish the timelines we have set for them. I've been an entrepreneur for over 50 years. I'm a retired aerospace engineer, so I'm very technical. I'm also retired military, 20 years, aviation. So I've been in leadership, and I want to say that, Clay, what you're putting out here tonight, I respect highly. And I will use much of what you have when the time is right. And I thank you for the delivery. And
Thank you so much, Doc.
Awesome. And thank you for your service, by the way.
Yes.
Very well earned. We appreciate, because none of us have a business if you don't serve, because we don't live in a country where we can operate in this way. And I just in short would just say, look, I think it's fine if you let people sort of make up their own mind when they're going to go, but I would just invite them to consider, when would you like the health issues that you've shared with me, when would you like those health issues to start going away in a non-invasive kind of way, right? That's all. It's not, again, I'm not trying to push somebody to the edge and say, look, if you don't buy right now, I'm going to push you over the edge of the cliff. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that I want to support you, but I want to make sure that you and I both know that you are moving forward in some reasonable way to help your health.
Yes. Well, that's so true. And we have one more person. I know I keep seeing him unmute himself. This is going to be our last person to ask a question. Earl, come on.
I'm ready. First off, I want to thank you again, Clay, for doing this evening. As we very much deeply appreciate it. Two things I want to address. What I tell people when they say I got to check with my doctor, because I've been told that several times, I said, when you check with your doctor, ask him what he thinks about drinking a soft drink or a Sprite or a Coke, and let me know what he tells you about the both, our water and that soft drink. So I've never gotten a response back from that, but that's what I put out there. Secondly, in Grant Cardone's book about 100 Ways to Close, he addresses a situation that you referred to this evening where the woman said, well, I have to get home and talk to my husband. And his reply to that, not that I'm in total agreement with, is you tell them, well, didn't you know what these machines cost before you even came here tonight? Or your products cost before you left the house? Does he ever trust you to buy anything without his opinion? Sign right here. And that was his approach to that. I know that's rather aggressive, but it's the same thing. The husband can say, I got to speak to my wife. Well, I think that's just a way of saying, no, I'm not interested myself personally. What's your thoughts on that, Clay?
Well, I think there's a couple things. First of all, if Cherie has to go talk to you before she can spend a certain amount of money, right? And this exceeds that amount of money, right? Like she's got to go talk to you. Then I would, first of all, I might even ask, can I be part of that conversation? Or I would ask, what do you think your spouse is going to ask you? Right? And then what I'm doing is I'm giving that person some ammunition in their gun, because essentially what's going to happen is a person who knows almost nothing is now going to go explain what I just said to a person who knows absolutely nothing.
That's gonna
and now we got the blind leading the blind. And if I can be part of the conversation, or if I can know what it is that he or she thinks that the spouse is going to ask, then I can preload their gun so that they have some ammunition to fire back to say, look, this is what we're doing here. This is why this is good. So I'm helping them be able to overcome the objections of the spouse if I can't be there to move forward. Or I would give them a video link. And so let's say Cherie gets home, she says, hey, I saw this super cool thing. I think we got to do this. I'm pretty fired up about this. Is super cool. And then you start asking her questions, right? Which would be legit. That would be normal and natural to do that, for you to do that. Good. Let's watch this video together. And it's, the 7-minute overview. Look, I'm making this up a little bit, but there's got to be this video someplace. Here's what Enagic is about, and here's how it works, and here's what water does, and why we do it, so that she doesn't have to do anything. Essentially, I'm telling Cherie, who's excited but doesn't know very much, how to talk to her husband, you, who knows nothing about anything because you've never been to a meeting. Now I'm giving her a way to just press play without getting herself backed in a corner.
Good.
Can I say something?
Yep.
Earl,
Yes.
when you first went to that demo, that very first demo you went to, you would have saved yourself 3 days. Because Cherie didn't order that machine for you right away.
I'll follow with something then.
I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to interrupt.
That's okay.
Okay. So most everybody on this call is probably on our Difference Makers group. So I want to let you know that you can always go to thebizrunner.com/profile and take your PEP, take the assessment. It's a free assessment. And then when you sign up, you enter the name and Grow My Team, all one word, so that you can start learning and engaging in understanding. Because I think one of the worst mistakes somebody can make is when they get their unit and they love the water, like myself. And I went out and talked to 2 people, and I didn't have backup, and I wasn't bulletproof. And they both did not purchase. They bought knockoff machines. And it took me a year to recover. And thank goodness I was able to recover that, because the people that finally bought our device, they instrumental in changing so many people's lives. And that's, I could have made that happen in the beginning had I had my skill level up, and if I was bulletproof. And that's what Clay's teaches us in the RI training. So you go to BizRunner, you go to training, Execute 90, guys. There's so many, more than half of us on this call, and there was 25 at one time, were on Execute 90 and has gone through it. It's developing trainers of trainers. And y'all might think, maybe, I don't know, I look like a novice, but when we first got on, I was like, okay, Nikema, so if something messes up, you're going to pick up my slack, right? And she's like, no, girl, you got it. So I'm like, okay. So anyway, we just people trying to share. And so Monday mornings, really quick, at 7 o'clock Central Time, we do a Zoom on Biz Runner training. That 8 o'clock Central Time, we go over the lesson, a weekly lesson in RI training. Thursdays at 5 o'clock Central Time, we have an Execute 90 overview and orientation, and Nakima does a fabulous job with that. But now we have on Saturday is Why Own a Personal Franchise. And I'm telling you, we are going to somebody's house tomorrow night that says they have 8 couples secured because of what they saw Saturday. And it was amazing. So get your team, get your friends, get anyone, your children, get them on this call so that you can be a part, because I know we all want to help people in changing lives. So Clay, thank you for, yes, Lisa?
I'm sorry, you said the Saturday call, but you didn't say what time.
10 a.m. Central. It's a Zoom. And so the Thursday, the Monday morning, Biz Runner training, Thursday, E90 overview, and Saturday, Why Own a Personal Franchise. And hopefully we're going to get Clay to come back and do it, another one on another topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is all the zoom.us. The code is 273-886-555. And so we'll be there, and we're just going to continue to dig in. Yes, Nakima?
Just one more thing. Clay also does on Mondays at, I believe it's 7:30 Central Time, also a Biz Runner, not Biz Runner, an Execute 90 overview. Just those of you who are using the Execute 90 system, you want to join him on Monday evening as well. And he'll go in depth to show you how to use the system. So make sure that you put that on your calendar, 7:30 p.m. on Mondays, Central Time, correct, Clay?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And Clay, is that E90 Zoom?
Monday call is the Monday call is E90master.com. There's no passwords or anything. You don't have to remember a bunch of numbers and stuff. E90, because it's Execute 90, E90 Master, because we're teaching you on Monday night how to master, how to use your subscription to the best of your ability. E90master.com.
And if you missed the E90 overview on Thursday with Nakima, Clay, you do one on Thursday as well.
Yes, at 8:30 Central Time.
Okay, and that's E90 Master?
And that's E90 Peek, P-E-E-K, like I'm taking a peek at something. You're taking a peek. It's an introductory call.
Introductory. So guys, just come on and listen in and watch Nakima's, watch Clay's. Yes, Lisa?
Clay, your Monday evening, is it recorded?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you go to Vimeo, V-I-M-E-O, Vimeo.com, which is like YouTube, right? It's another place to be able to save videos, and look for either Clay Stevens or Execute 90. You'll be able to find all of the archived ones, and they're all listed, like the date and then what the main topic we discussed is.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Wonderful. And all your books are on Amazon and also on ritraining.com.
Yep.
Yes.
And Lynn, don't forget about Lynn's event, the farm event that's coming up, right? I'm totally going. It's going to be awesome. 11, 12, 13, etc. It's going to be totally awesome. We're going to be there together, and it's going to be amazing. So just wanted to, if you need more information about that, call Cherie, call Nakima, call Earl, call somebody, right? There's a bunch of people going, but my agreement with Lynn is for me to promote that, and I'm going besides that, so that should be enough, but I think it's going to be great.
That's so awesome. Thank you. That's livingwatersfarmevent.com. So guys, we can unmute ourselves, but Clay, I just want to tell you, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You've changed my life, my team's life, and Nakima, thank you so much for all that you do, and everyone on this call. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You guys are totally amazing. A bunch of winners walking. Thank y'all. Have a great night.
Thank you,
Thank you, Clay. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome information.
Bye.